I thought my mom loved my fiancé until she told her, I don't want black grandchildren. You'll never belong in our family, she said while I was gone. My fiancé cried in the car and begged me to take her home. I called my sisters. They said, of course mom's racist, you just didn't see it. Yesterday, I uninvited my parents from our wedding. Today, my mom texted, you're breaking my heart. Please. I want to be there. So I never thought I'd be one of those guys writing on Reddit, but here I am. Long-time lurker, first-time poster. Please bear with me. This has been the most confusing and emotional week of my life, and I'm not sure what to do anymore. I'm a 28-year-old white guy, and I've been with my fiancée, Jasmine, 26F, for a little over 3 years now. She's black, brilliant, funny as hell, and way out of my league. Like, she literally makes me look like a cardboard cutout in pictures. She's got this radiant energy that people are just drawn to. I knew pretty early on she was the one, and she said yes when I proposed last month. Best moment of my life, hands down. We've had the usual ups and downs, but nothing major. We laugh a lot, communicate well, and never had any real problems. Until last weekend. And now I'm stuck between the two people I love most in this world, Jasmine and my mom. I grew up in a small, mostly white town in the Midwest. My family is traditional, I guess. Church every Sunday, big on family values, BBQs, yard work, college football. You get the picture. We didn't really talk about race growing up because there just wasn't any diversity in our area. Looking back, that should have been a red flag, but when you grow up in it, you don't question it much. My parents have always seemed like good people. They're generous, polite, and never said anything openly racist in front of me. My mom has even sponsored some church-run program that donates to orphanages in Africa, which she loves bringing up at holiday dinners. So when I started dating Jasmine, I was honestly a little nervous. But they were perfectly pleasant when they met her a year ago. Maybe a little awkward, but nothing hostile. I chalked it up to Midwest small talk. Jasmine was gracious as always, and I figured all was good. Fast forward to a week ago, we were on a family Zoom call with my parents and siblings. Jasmine and I dropped the news. We're engaged. Everyone clapped, smiled, said congratulations. My mom seemed a little caught off guard, but she smiled through it. I didn't think much of it at the time. So this past weekend, we invited my parents over for a small dinner. Just the four of us. Jasmine wanted them to get to know her better, now that we're officially future in-laws. She planned everything herself, made this incredible short rib pasta from scratch, even baked her famous bourbon pecan pie, which my mom once claimed was too rich. But whatever. My mom forgot to bring the salad she was supposed to, so my dad and I offered to run back to their house to get it. It's only a 5-minute drive. Jasmine and my mom stayed behind. We were gone for maybe 10 minutes when I got a text from Jasmine. Please come back now. I need you. No emojis, no punctuation. Just those 6 words. I showed it to my dad, and we turned around immediately. When we pulled up, Jasmine was already outside sitting in my car. She had her arms crossed, eyes red, trying not to cry. I asked her what happened, and she just said, please just take me home. So I did. I texted my mom saying we were heading out and we'd talk later. She just replied, okay. The entire drive home, Jasmine didn't say much, just held my hand and stared out the window. Once we got back, I made her some tea, and after a while, she told me what happened. According to Jasmine, the moment we left, my mom's tone shifted. She apparently told Jasmine she wasn't thrilled about the engagement and didn't believe in mixing cultures. Then she allegedly said, I don't want black grandchildren, I'm just being honest. Jasmine said she stood there stunned. My mom kept going, asked what country Jasmine's family was originally from, made a comment about Jasmine marrying up, and said she didn't expect you to be the one who'd trap him. That word, trap, absolutely broke me. I was shaking. I asked Jasmine like 5 different times if she was sure. She was. I've never seen her look so small and exhausted. She kept saying, I didn't want to tell you. I knew you'd be hurt. She didn't even want me to confront my mom. She just wanted to go no contact, full stop. I called my mom the next morning, told her what Jasmine said. She was completely calm and said none of it was true. She claims the only thing she asked was, what country is Jasmine's heritage from? And that Jasmine must have misinterpreted it. She said she would never say something like that and was deeply hurt that Jasmine would accuse her. I told her I needed to think and hung up. Since then, I've been spiraling. I've never known Jasmine to lie or overreact like this, but I've also never known my mom to be outright cruel or racist. Now I feel like I'm losing my mind. I've even caught myself wondering if Jasmine hallucinated it somehow, or if my mom did. Neither has any history of mental illness, but my uncle had a breakdown in his 30s, so now I'm like, is that even possible? These are the 2 most important women in my life. One of them is lying or misremembering, or having some kind of episode, and I don't know what to do. I want to believe Jasmine. I do believe Jasmine, I think, but how do I just accept that my mom, who raised me, loved me, and helped pay for my education, could say something that disgusting? And why would she only say it when I wasn't around? I don't know what to do. I haven't talked to my mom since that call. Jasmine hasn't spoken a word about it since. She just keeps herself busy and avoids any mention of my parents. I feel like I'm watching my future crack apart and I can't fix it. I know Reddit's going to roast me for even hesitating. But I really thought my family was different. Any advice is appreciated. Edit 1. I get it. I shouldn't have jumped to, maybe she's hallucinating. I didn't mean it to sound like Jasmine was unstable. I was just trying to figure out any possible explanation because my brain couldn't accept the idea that my mom could be so hateful. I'm sorry. Edit 2. Some people asked if we could check security footage. My dad does have Ring cameras, but when I asked, he said they were already overwritten. That doesn't help. I wish I could see it myself. I just want the truth. Update. Hey again. I didn't expect to be posting an update so soon, but a lot happened. And I feel like I owe it to the people who gave me thoughtful advice and told me, sometimes very bluntly, to wake up. After reading through the comments and a bunch of DMs, the suggestion that stuck with me the most was, call your siblings. Ask if this kind of thing has happened before. So I did. I have 3 older sisters, Leah, 41, Emily, 38, and Claire, 36. I'm the youngest by a big gap. I was the surprise baby and the only boy. We get along fine, but I've always kind of felt like the kid brother tagging along in their grown-up lives. We talk occasionally, but we're not super close. Still, I texted them that it was an emergency and asked if they could hop on a Zoom. To my surprise, all 3 agreed within minutes. It was like some unspoken sibling emergency hotline kicked in. We got on the call, and I launched into it. Told them the whole story. The dinner, the text from Jasmine, what she said mom told her, how mom denied it completely, and how torn I felt. I tried to keep it neutral and just said I needed their honest opinion. That's all. There was this pause when I finished. Emily kind of chuckled, like, that scoff laugh sound you make when you can't believe what you're hearing. Then Leah said, are you really asking us this? I didn't know what to say. I just stared at the screen. Emily shook her head and said, of course mom is racist, dude. Where have you been? They told me everything. Things I never heard growing up. Apparently, my mom used to give them full-on lectures about why they should never date black men. Stuff like, those relationships never work out. Or, black men only want one thing. She made it sound like some moral crusade every time they brought up race or relationships. They all dated white guys, and I always assumed it was coincidence. Apparently, it wasn't. Claire told me mom used to go out of her way to praise her white boyfriends even when they were trash, just because they were safe. Once, when Claire dated a guy whose mom was Dominican, mom called him ethnically ambiguous and started sending her articles about cultural compatibility. Like, what? Then Emily dropped the real bombshell. She told me no decent white man would want me if I had a kid with a black guy. I was floored. They weren't even angry while saying all this. It was like they'd made peace with it years ago. But the part that really hit me was when Leah said, we all assumed you knew, or that you just didn't care. That gutted me. I never knew, not once. I never heard her say anything like that. Then came the second punch. Apparently, I was the golden child, the only boy, the baby, the one who got everything without realizing it. They told me mom and dad paid for my car in high school, covered most of my college tuition, and called every weekend while I was at school. None of them got that. Leah said she took out student loans that she's still paying off. Emily had to buy her first car in cash, and Claire was basically pushed into a crap marriage at 23 because mom told her it was the best she could do. I sat there on the Zoom call with 3 women who grew up in the same house I did, and it felt like they were talking about a different family. Leah looked at me kind of sideways and said, you've never dated a black woman before, right? I shook my head. She said, well, Jasmine's the first woman who didn't come with the white girl safety blanket. And now mom's real opinions are showing. That's not new. You're just seeing it for the first time. Claire added, we're not mad at Jasmine. We're mad that she went through that alone while you were trying to figure out whether she imagined it. And they were right. I did try to rationalize it. I did wonder if it was a misunderstanding. And the whole time, Jasmine was just hurting, quietly, alone. After the call ended, I just sat on the floor. I don't even know for how long. My dog came over and sat on my lap like he knew something was wrong. Eventually, I went into the bedroom where Jasmine was reading and just sat down next to her. She looked at me and said, what happened? And I just said, you were right about everything. I'm so sorry. I told her everything the girl said, everything I didn't know. She didn't cry. She didn't say, I told you so. She just pulled me into her arms and said, thank you for listening. We stayed like that for a long time. It was quiet, but it felt like something had shifted, like we were finally on the same page again. We're still figuring it out. We both agreed we're not comfortable having my parents around our future children. Period. We talked about whether to go no contact, but honestly, I think it's going to be a process. I haven't called my mom since all this happened. I don't know what I'd even say. What hurts most is realizing my family isn't who I thought they were. That I was raised in this perfect little snow globe, while everyone else was just trying not to get cut on the glass. My sisters actually called me back the next day and apologized for being so blunt. They said they were just shocked it took me this long to see it, but they were glad I finally did. I told them I want to rebuild things with them, and they seemed open to it. So, that's one small light in all this. Edit. A few people asked why I didn't see the footage from the Ring camera inside my dad's house. I did ask. He said the footage was already deleted or overwritten. I honestly don't know if that's true. I don't think he'd lie, but after all this, I'm not so sure anymore. I just wish I could have seen it, even just once. I'll post a final update soon once we've had time to process and make a final decision about my parents. I'm honestly grateful for the harsh truths you all shared. Reddit was right. I needed to wake up. Next steps. Figuring out how to actually move forward with our wedding, and whether I'm walking down the aisle with my mom there or not. Final update. Hi again. I didn't think I'd be posting another update this soon, but things escalated fast once my mom found out what we were planning. So here it is. We've made our decision. Jasmine and I are still getting married, on the same date, same venue, same everything, but my parents are no longer invited. And yes, my mom is officially melting down. After the Zoom call with my sisters and the long heart-to-heart with Jasmine, we both agreed we needed to start making decisions. Not just talk about them, actually do something. So first, we sat down and had the wedding talk. It was brutal. Jasmine, for all her grace, has limits. She said she would marry me under a tree with just us and a squirrel as witness if it meant not having to look my mother in the eye ever again. But I knew she was hurting, not just from what my mom said, but from me. Even hesitating at first. I told her I wanted the day to be about us, about joy and love and beginning our life, not anxiety, not pretending, and definitely not racism in a dress suit. So we made the call together. My parents are out. They are not coming to the wedding. No debate. I drafted a message and sent it to them the next morning. It wasn't mean, just direct. I told them what I had learned from my sisters, how Jasmine felt, and that their actions and lack of remorse had consequences. I said they are still my parents and that I don't hate them, but I need to protect my future wife and my own peace. I sent it via text and email. 10 minutes later, my mom called. I didn't answer. I couldn't. I let it go to voicemail. Her message started calm, then spiraled. She said she couldn't believe I was throwing away your family for that girl, and that I was being manipulated. She accused Jasmine of turning me against my own mother. And then, in a quieter voice, she said, "This isn't the life we imagined for you." That line. That's when I knew we made the right choice. My dad rarely talks during conflict. Growing up, he was the classic quiet man of the house, unless it was about tools or grilling. But he did call me later that day. And this was his exact quote. "Son, I don't agree with how your mom handled things, but maybe Jasmine took it the wrong way. You're letting emotion cloud your judgment." I told him, "No, I'm finally seeing clearly, for the first time." He sighed and said, "Well, I hope you change your mind before the wedding. Your mother's heart is broken. Mine's been breaking for days, Dad." We finalized our guest list 2 days ago. Sent out the digital invites. My sisters are all coming. Claire even offered to walk me down the aisle in Mom's place, half joking. I might take her up on it. My childhood best friend, who happens to be gay, and who Mom once accidentally referred to as my confused friend, sent me a voice memo that made me cry. Just him saying how proud he was of me, and how happy he is that Jasmine and I are building a life that isn't built on lies or silence. Jasmine and I even started talking about starting a family. Not right away, but someday. And I already know our kids will never have to question whether they're wanted, never have to smile through subtle digs or coded language at the dinner table. Okay, so this part shocked me. Emily called me yesterday and told me she talked to Mom. She told her everything. How Jasmine cried in the car, how she was terrified that I might not believe her, how close she came to just walking away because of how hurt she was. And according to Emily, Mom cried, like actually cried. Not in the performative, "Why is everyone mad at me" way, but apparently in that quiet, guilt-soaked kind of way that means something cracked open. Emily said Mom admitted to saying something she shouldn't have, but then pivoted to, "I just wanted the best for him." I didn't know she'd take it that way. Not a full apology, but not denial either. Maybe that's the most I'll get. We're still not inviting them. That doesn't change. But I think this might be the start of something, or at least the end of pretending. I told Jasmine everything, and she just nodded. She said, "You don't owe them forgiveness, but you do owe yourself honesty. We're getting married next month. The guest list is smaller now, but it feels more real. I feel lighter, like I'm finally living a life I chose, not one that was handed to me and wrapped in a bow labeled normal." I've learned more in the last 2 weeks than I have in years of being alive. I learned that love doesn't mean blind loyalty, that family isn't defined by blood, but by the people who show up when it counts. That silence can be complicity, and that sometimes the people you idolized growing up were just playing a role. To everyone who called me out, pushed me, DM'd me, or shared your own stories, thank you. I needed the slap in the face. And to the ones who reminded me to be gentle with myself while unlearning everything, I needed that too. This is the end of the story, at least for now. Jasmine and I are moving forward, together. Edit. Someone asked me what I would do if my mom eventually gave a real apology. Like, really owned up to it. I honestly don't know, but I know I'd listen. Because I want to believe people can change, even if they're decades late. Thanks for reading, Reddit. I hope this helps someone else out there dealing with family betrayal or racism in places they didn't expect. You're not crazy. You're not overreacting. Trust the people who show you who they are.